LOL Bills. L O L. Ghost of Gerolitis, you were absolutely right. I can't even hate. I'm not going to hate on you. I'm actually going to agree with you when it comes to these Buffalo Bills, Bert.
Mm-hmm.
I we're not gonna waste any time. We'll get right into it. The Buffalo Bills losing to the Kansas City Chiefs 29-32. There's a lot to really attack from this game, but I think I want to get the most obvious thing out of the way first.
Okay.
Buffalo Bills head coach Sean McDermott, you are dog shit. Point blank, period, stop. Listen, in your tenure as the Buffalo Bills head coach, I got to give it to you. You've achieved a lot. Significant success, ending the drought, 5 straight AFC East titles, ending the Bills' 17-year drought, like I said. But his inability to reach the Super Bowl and consistently losing to Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs,
Yeah.
it can't be ignored. And I think the sentiment that I'm having with Bills fans, the issue I'm having with Bills fans is that, he broke the 17-year drought. He's the best coach we've ever had. Bert, I've been saying it for months, for years now. That's Josh Allen to me.
You've
That's
been saying
not
it for at least 2 solid years that I am remembering. All this past season and the season before.
Sean McDermott is supposed to be a defensive backgrounded coach, right?
Yeah.
And yet it seems like every year in the playoffs, it's the defense that lacks the strength to defeat the teams on a regular basis, like the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like the Eagles in that big game last year. The Ravens 35-10. I know we just beat them, but that was more, to me, that was more of the Ravens losing the game than the Bills going out there to win the game.
Yeah.
And
what did we sit and talk about last week? I mean, the Bills defense and their secondary in particular got my bad for the week when we went over good, bad, fugly. And it was a shock because they forced 3 turnovers in that week. But when you look at it, they were literally a drop pass away from, look, I get it. It was like a minute 40 left, a minute 30 with timeouts. You gave Josh Allen the ball. He may have driven back down and scored. They didn't need to do that in that scenario because Mark Andrews dropped that pass. But man, it was looking horrible for them in the second half of last week's game.
Yeah.
This week's game was basically the whole thing. I honestly couldn't believe what I was watching. It was a great game. Don't get me wrong, but very frustrating to say the least.
I sat there and thought, what could we do?
Yeah.
Like, I understand just firing the coach for the sake of firing him. I'm not saying fire him for nothing.
Yeah.
But John Gruden's out there. I think I'm just tired of the bald clapper just clapping his way through the pain. Can we get somebody in here that'll hold the players accountable? Can we get somebody in here that even without yes, Sean McDermott has done some good things, but damn, let's hold players accountable for the things that we're doing on the field. So I don't know. Let's see. Ghosted Gerolitis says, y'all think Terry Pagula was pulling tissues from a gold plate? I mean, listen, Terry Pagula is still going to be a rich ass, whatever he is. And he doesn't care. He doesn't care what's happening. He doesn't the Bills are a success. I'm not downplaying, but we're separating 2 separate things. The Bills are supposed to be what they are. You have a top 3 quarterback. I expect you to win 10 plus games and at least win your division or make the playoffs with a trained monkey as the head coach. But teams only have small windows to make hay, right? And the Bills, outside of the regular season, are wasting Josh Allen's prime, period. Not only are there the big mistakes on the field, like not having James Cook in the last drive of the game when it matters the most, but McDermott, like I said earlier, is a defensive guy who aren't close to stopping what Kansas City is doing at all times. Why was that guy wide open in the flats? Why is Kyer Elam is the worst? I think he's one of Sean McDermott's first picks, and I think he has this loyalty to him, right? That you have to play him, but he's awful. And yes, we had some injuries. People go out. Taylor Rapp not playing. Christian Beffer going out early on that with the injury.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just we have to get Josh Allen some help, and it sucks to go out to the Kansas City Chiefs again. And obviously people will draw parallels to 4 straight Super Bowls, but
Yeah.
and I'm not
I don't like the hit
obvious.
Josh Allen is getting right now. I'll be honest with you. He played an excellent game, and I understand the quarterback is and in this league in particular, quarterback is what's driving your team 100%. And it seems so simple to be out there, but like it is the number one position. If you don't have a good quarterback, you're donezo. Playing it like there's nothing else to it. I don't like how they're pinning, and I've never liked this for the record. QB versus QB. Oh,
I
Pat
hate that.
Mahomes owns Josh Allen. It's like Pat Mahomes isn't on the same field as Josh Allen is when he's out there, right? Like you can, like both can be true. Patty Mahomes can play a great game. So can Josh Allen. Pat Mahomes was the winner. That's fine. But for a lot of people to sit there and dog Josh Allen and be like, oh, Pat Mahomes owns him. Like, I mean, no, if anything, their defense did, but honestly, a lot of this was self-inflicted. And listen, we'll get into ref controversy because I know you're dying to talk about it a little bit, and it's tough to ignore. I will say though, this wasn't a game that was 100% separated by bad calls, even though there were a couple that were out there. One of which I definitely want to get to because I think not just in this game, but if it was called a catch in any other game, I'd call it absolutely asinine. But what you just spoke to, the dumb play calling, the simple mental mistakes, and whether it was a rebuilding year or not, like this was the chance to go on and of course face an Eagles team, which I mean we can talk about later too, hypothetically speaking. Would the Bills even contend? Because after watching them
Right.
absolutely tear it up on Sunday, they look incredible. So yeah, man, I feel for the Bills. I feel for Bill fans. I think the entirety of America is so exhausted of the Chiefs right now. But it's tough for me to fully hate them. You have to admire exactly what they're doing too. If the Super Bowl is a well officiated game.
Yes.
With that being said, and I know we talked about the Bills' mistakes, Josh Allen played an excellent game. But there were very questionable calls that actually led to game-changing events. And I'm not just talking about the 4th down, 4th and inches. I'm also talking about Xavier Worthy's catch.
Yeah, quote unquote catch.
That to me was the biggest what the fuck call out there. Because I don't know how you can call that a catch. And this is something that needs to be visited in the offseason because there was no clear possession. It was between two players and it hit the ground on the way down. So, and that led to a score. So for me, that's egregious. It's one of the biggest momentum shifts. It led to points on the board. And for them not only to call a catch, but then review it and still call it a good catch. And I guess it's because they didn't have enough evidence to overturn it. But I'm like, we've seen at least 3 different angles of this ball hitting the ground with only one hand from Xavier Worthy on that ball. Like, to me, that is crazy. Absolutely crazy. What are your thoughts?
So before Jeff McLean says Buffalo didn't use James Cook correctly all season. I agree. There was like times where we leaned on him heavily, and then times it felt like we forgot about him. He also says if the Chiefs were playing the Taliban in the AFC Championship, he would have rooted for the Taliban. You know what, Jeff? Shout out. It is Kansas City fatigue, and it's not Kansas City. I think people do generally like great teams, but when you look at since their winning streak, since last losing to or their winning streak in the playoffs, 8 games, now 9 games.
Yeah.
90% of the calls have gone the Chiefs' way.
Yeah.
In the playoffs.
Well,
that's a disparity, and that's the issue. Like the narrative of the refs helping the Chiefs isn't just some fabricated thing. There's data to back it up. So the Chiefs fans that are like, "Oh, see the refs," just because y'all get 1 or 2 flags. I mean, it's when you look at the data, the disparity is what leads to the narrative, not just the optics. So I don't know. It's just a thing.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. I mean, between this game and last game, the when you look at the total stats of the game, it seems as though their opponents are the ones that are dominating in almost every single category. And yet the Chiefs are still certainly coming out on top. Now, I'm not saying it's because of only calls. Obviously, it's opportunist, but in this game in particular, when you look at the catch, when you look at, which by the way, I'm not a Travis Kelce hater, but when did he become such
You know when. Come on now.
like a flopper.
You know,
like,
you know when.
For him, and that's another thing annoyed me about this missed call. And that's when I really started to raise my eyebrow and be like, are they really going to do this now in a conference championship, man? You know, he ran in to talk that shit, got no taunting penalty. And then the second he's touched, flopped. I'm like, dude, I get it. You know, try to get the advantage. But the fact that he literally ran in there talking shit and got nothing for it.
Yeah.
And it just, oh man, it drove me wild. And look, the last thing I'm going to say, and this isn't necessarily a bad call or bad officiating, because I do understand it's tough to spot the ball, but that 4th and inches, that's
the call. That one, I mean, so between the 4th and inches that Josh Allen converted, and then the one that Dalton Kincaid, there was actually another one that Dalton Kincaid was clearly over the line. And then on top of the Xavier Worthy quote unquote catch, those specifically the Josh Allen conversion and the Xavier Worthy catch led to touchdowns, led to points for the Kansas City Chiefs. So the referee's inability to make these calls, and me and you again have pined, hey, where are the sky judges at? Why can't there be any type, like the NFL has to look at this stuff. And better yet, put some microchips in the goddamn footballs.
Oh, thank you. I have the same thing written down. This is insane. Not just that, Jerm. I was thinking microchips in footballs, but you know, everybody can claim, oh, faulty technology, bullshit, whatever. But I want the same system they use in tennis when they have this camera angled down to the exact line so they can see if it's a fucking fault or not. Like, you're going to tell me we're going to rely on 2 middle-aged men on the sidelines or women on the sidelines, like judging from however far away, especially, you know, in games like this when it's cold, like, and on that case, one spotted the ball with the first, the other one didn't. They got together and made a decision. And of course they reviewed it and they couldn't get a good view on it. His back was turned, the ball was blocked. And I'm sitting there going like, you know, damn well, if this was some other team, that would have been called a first down. And look, everybody listening out there or watching right now is going to sit there and say, man, we're just salty. Yes, we are, because we don't live in Kansas City. Plain and simple. But as a football fan and as an NFL fan, I do give credit where credit is due. And we are on the verge of witnessing history. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Do I want the Eagles to win the Super Bowl? No. So I'm, I guess, inadvertently rooting for the Chiefs to three-peat. But with the way the Eagles are looking, man, this is going to be different than what was it, 2023?
Yeah. I lost my train of thought. I fucking lost
microchips in the football. I know.
Oh no. Just even before then, when it came to like the next steps for the Bills, like yes, we're gonna root for the Eagles. Like unfortunately, like I don't feel like I'm gonna throw up saying that. I don't want the Kansas City Chiefs to three-peat. I don't. Period. I just can't handle it. My brain can't handle it. I don't know what I'll do. But as far as what the Bills can do, yes, it was supposed to be a rebuilding year. A lot of the players that we brought in to fill in the salary cap are going to leave. I think you let Amari Cooper walk. I think you let Von Miller.
Really?
Yeah. Like Mac Hollins has been the only real mainstay like that you can't get rid of for me. I feel like Amari Cooper, unless he's willing to take like a mid-level deal, which again,
he might.
But you know my thought process. You don't pay skill players, and this is the problem we're going to have with James Cook. He's going to earn himself $20 million a year. And I know the Bills fans are about to jump down my throat and say this when I say this, but you don't pay skill players, man. You don't. We need to focus on defense. Our defense is getting shredded. All these fragile ass players we have like are going down, and we're already getting put behind the 8 ball because we have to rely on Kyer Elam and rookie Cole Bishop, who was already a 2-year project to begin with, who admirably stepped up when he could. And now like focus on the defensive line. Offensive line is fine. Shore that up. You have Josh Allen. You don't need to go out and spend big money. Like you have to just get competent receivers. I think this year proved that you don't have to have a true not wide receiver one. Again, if Amari Cooper's happy here in Buffalo and he knows this is a really good shot for him and he's willing to not take wide receiver money, then obviously, yeah, I would rather keep him. I think him in a full season with the Bills will be good. But, how have you not gotten Josh Allen help defensively?
Yeah.
How, at this point, after you've lost these games, have you not said, screw it, we're going to go trade for Myles Garrett and Max Crosby? Like you either have to go all the way in, you can't just piecemeal it together. And honestly, I mentally, I don't think Buffalo will ever get past this. I don't. And the window will eventually close. And there's young teams in the AFC. Look what Harbaugh did for the Chargers.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, people are so scared to move on from McDermott. Look what a 1-year change will do for players. And I don't know what else you can do. The Chiefs have mastered this not lose games way. Even when people are doubting them, they just find ways to not lose the games. And I said it last week, Bert. I said, hey, the Bills cannot let this be a 1-score game. And look what happened. Yeah. And the one call that goes the Chiefs' way, and you said it, it's going to happen. Something is going to go the Chiefs' way, and they're going to end up winning. How many times can you watch Sean McDermott just fuck it up? How many times can we just clap and say, yeah, I really love the grit of my team. I really love what we did this year. I really love this. We'll go get them next year, boys. We're going to stay the course. We're going to trust the process. We're going to do this. The Kansas City Chiefs have beaten you, not only in the divisional round, they've beaten you in the AFC Championship. They've beat you on the road. They've beat you at home. It's over, Sean McDermott. Like your ceiling, this is like Marty Schottenheimer vibes. The ceiling has been hit. And a different voice needs to be made. And maybe we don't need the nice motivational summer camp counselor coach. Maybe we need John Gruden that'll curse the players out and tell them to get off their fucking ass and win these games. We don't need love and good vibes. We need somebody who's willing to go out there and make good adjustments and cut people and tell people that they're not good enough to be on this team. And if you're dropping passes, hey, you're not playing the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Like we need that. Because we've tried it the other way for the past several years, and it's not working. And what's going to happen is either one of two things needs to happen for Buffalo. Either Josh Allen needs to leave Buffalo and go to a team that is in position to win the Super Bowl, or the Buffalo Bills need to fire Sean McDermott. And I'm telling you right now, as a Buffalo Bills fan, I would rather see Josh Allen go win a Super Bowl with another team than Sean McDermott win a Super Bowl in Buffalo and be rewarded for his incompetence. Period.
Jesus. I understand what you're saying there. That would kill me to watch a quarterback like Josh Allen do it anywhere else. But man, I'm kind of with you because the last thing you want is Sean McDermott to, like you said, get praised for doing a good job when it was one good year.
Yeah. All right.